Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! This happened just about a week ago. I just went to a new school since I moved to a different town. I got picked on for being the new kid, but one guy I won't forget is this guy. The entitled kid of the story. He would steal my lunch, leaving me hungry, forcing me to do his homework and threatening to hurt me if I didn't. And worst of all, he would always make rumors about me that spread around the school. This happened every day, and I started getting tired of this. So my mom decided to buy some Carolina Reaper powder from some store and dump the whole thing into a bag of frozen French fries. She shakes it up and heats it up the next day. Not only that, but she also dipped gummy bears into the container. Since the bully knows I usually go to the library before we have lunch, I decide to do what I usually do. My school usually asks us to take our lunchbox and put it on a desk in a pavilion to avoid kids losing it. But I set up my friend as a spy on a bench as close as he could to the table. We were allowed phones, so he videotaped the whole thing. Unfortunately, he saw the phone, snatched it, and threw it on the ground, destroying all the video. Now for the fun bit. I heard a loud scream, so I dashed out of the library, seeing the bully running around with my lunchbox that had half-eaten gummy bears. He falls to the ground and the office calls the ambulance, and they arrive in 10 minutes with a stretcher in hand. They bring him out. The next day I see the police parents screaming at the admins in the office. "What the hell do you think you did with my son?" "I'm sorry, but a student told me that he ate someone's lunch." "How could you say that he will never do that?" "I'm sorry to say, but he ate someone's French fries and gummy bears, which gave him an asthma attack." "Why would someone do that to my angel?" "I'm sorry, but your son is the one in the wrong since he ate someone else's lunch." The parent storms out of the office and out of the school. A few weeks later, the entitled parent comes back and punches me in the face, all because the entitled kid stole my lunch. We press charges on the entitled parent and her son for theft and assault on a minor. Also, my friend went charging her for the phone but doubled the price of the coat because he lost some valuable pictures of his mom because she passed. In the end, she was fined $500 and my friend got $2,000. Take that, you jerk. So my aunt came down from up north to see me and my single mother, and she brought her little 12-year-old brat who expects me to wait on him hand and foot. As they arrive, I already hear the entitled brat saying, "I hope OP gives me one of his video games." I normally wouldn't have a problem with this, but I'm a huge gamer and I'm very protective of them. Anyways, the entitled parent and brat walk in, and before I can get in a hello, the entitled brat sprints to my room and immediately start going through all of my games. Note: I suffer from depression and very severe anxiety, so I immediately freak out and say, "Hey, no, get out of there, and get out of my room now." So the entitled brat leaves and tells his mom. She shows up at my door, and before I can say, "What do you want?" she starts screaming about how I beat up her kid and that she was gonna have the cops called on me. This is where the dog comes in. I have a little 40-pound Australian cattle dog puppy. She's very protective but also too cute to be taken seriously. So as the entitled parent is screaming at me, my dog comes and sits in front of me and growls. And that was what set off the entitled parent on the stereotypical entitled parent dog rant, saying, "Oh my god, get your dog, she's gonna eat me." Me, in my mind, oh my god, why do I exist? The following conversation goes like this. "She doesn't mean it, she's just protective. What are you talking about? I beat up your kid? My child has bruises all over him and has a bloody nose too. What the hell are you talking about? He's fine. I'm calling the police." The police then arrive and ask what's going on, and the following conversation ensues. She says, "The dog bit my child and the boy beat him up. I want that dog put down and the boy too, I think he has rabies." The policeman asks, Can we see the child? And of course, the entitled brat is fine. So the police officer asks what happened, to which my mother told him. The policeman believed us and asked if we would like him and the other policeman to escort her out of the property, to which my mom and I said yes. We have not seen this entitled parent since or heard from her again. This is a story of my high school experience getting one over on my potential driver's ed teacher. I grew up with a form of autism that was later classified as Asperger's, but the level of my Asperger's is low, so I was offered to enroll in the school's driver's ed class. Now, I was what was known as a visual learner, meaning I had a harder time learning through textbooks than I did through hands-on experience or having a visual representation. I could still learn the old-fashioned way, but I would have to work harder at that. Being able to drive was both an exciting and nervous concept for me at the time, and seeing my single mother's excitement for the school to offer such a course was a huge relief for her, which motivated me further to try for my license. I studied the handbook along with my homework, and Mom helped me with flashcards for the rules of the road and road signs, basically getting me as prepared as possible to pass the written test before I could get behind the wheel with the teacher. Well, this is where things went wrong. As part of the test was an eye test, one-on-one with a teacher. This teacher was a bit off when it came to kids with my condition, and he made remarks at me during the testing when I'd miss a question, saying things along the lines of how I shouldn't drive due to how unattentive I'd be, and I don't have the mental capacity to drive safely. Now, these weren't his exact words, but that was the gist of it. I got more scared the further in the course I went, not wanting to fail and waste the hard work I put into this course, but I was making more mistakes and eventually flunking out of the course. The teacher was happy to see me go, and my mom was upset with me that I failed the course. This caused a bit of depression, and I was about to go down a bad path. However, this opened me up to another course, and I had a natural knack for computers. So I took a computer course instead, learning basics like Office mostly, how to make a presentable PowerPoint presentation using Word's document wizard to make things like resumes, proper letters, and so on, and a bit of extensive look through Excel. This is where I met a good buddy of mine that I still chat with today from time to time. We'd hang out in the computer class during free periods to play Halo, CE, and RuneScape when we were at home. Fast forward a few months and the end of the quarter comes up. Students get our course letters and reports at this time from the courses we signed up for that quarter. Usually letters from the teachers on what we passed on, what we needed to improve on, and so on. Basically, a more personalized report card. I of course got my computer class course letter along with one from the driver's ed teacher. I expected the driver's ed letter to be a basic failure letter, but what I got was so much more. The teacher not only wrote that I failed but was unfit to drive due to my disability, and that the DMV will be receiving a recommendation to exclude me from taking a test there. This upset me of course, and my buddy from computers saw this was affecting me when I could play worse in Halo and appeared less on RS. He sent me a message on AIM asking what's up, and it took a bit before I explained to him about the teacher, how much I felt this affected my mom, and that I might never be able to drive because of this entitled jerk. My friend, rather than pity me, told me that we should get the teacher back. This, while I was hesitant at first, agreed to do, as the teacher unknowingly gave us the tools we needed. The letter I got from the teacher we knew was a teacher's usual stationery, and he has been using this for a long time. The formatting was easy to duplicate, and the signature he always used scan at the bottom for ease. My buddy came up with most of the plan, while I wrote up a letter in his formatting and scanned a copy of his copied signature onto the document. Yes, I know this could be counted as forgery, but just wait. Come Monday, and my buddy and I arrive at school going through school as usual until we get to the school period. We both knew that the truck that delivers food to the school for the cafeteria was coming that day. They usually get a weekly delivery and they are usually done unloading mid-second period. How do we know this? Because my buddy has a class that has a view of the loading docks during the second period, usually to wonder what we're getting that week to eat. He also is able to see the driver's ed teacher's driving course set up in the empty flat top nearby, one usually used for outdoor basketball and whatnot. Anyway, we head out to the loading docks with a letter in hand and a roll of tape, making sure the delivery driver is deep inside the cafeteria, likely signing off on the shipment or something. While we make our move, the driver's ed teacher is also away, taking likely the report of the prior period of his classroom. We go up to the driver door of the truck and tape the folded letter to his door where he will see it, then get out of there to rush to our next class. Now, I didn't have a class this period that could see what unfolded, but my buddy had quite the view of what followed. The truck driver was heading to his cabin when he spotted the note. He takes it and reads an apology letter from the driver's ed teacher explaining that one of the students had lost control and had hit his truck. The damage was minor, but it left a few dings. Sorry, signed the teacher. The driver's ed teacher came out to an angry truck driver, likely having a few choice words for him and a cracked windshield from the trucker's bat on the car the teacher uses to teach students to drive. I look back on this, still happy it had happened. And I've shared the story with some close friends over the years. Some people say the windshield was a bit much, likely costing quite a bit of money to fix, but this guy tried to limit my life to harm me over something I had no control over. Screw that guy. I hope he had to pay for that windshield himself. Most of my friends agreed with me on that point after the fact. I was able to get my license despite the recommendation from the teacher. Turns out school programs, while they do help get you a step ahead with the DMV, it is not required nor really regarded. Edit. Fixed a bit of a confusing part. To clarify, the truck driver pulled out a baseball bat from his truck and smashed the windshield of the driver's ed car. This all happened about 18 years ago. I was a waitress for a village inn. I worked the morning shift because it had the most business. Now, this is back when smoking was still allowed in restaurants. We had a smoking section and a non-smoking section. Our seating chart was designed with this in mind and never changed even after the restaurant went full non-smoking. Now on Sunday, we had your wonderful church rush that would pack the entire place for hours. So Sunday was totally non-smoking until 3 p.m. On the weekends, we would have about 8 servers. This meant that the smoking side had 2, while the other side had 6. So if you worked the smoking side, you had 10 tables to take care of, while the other servers had 4. Management knew I was good at what I did and would always put me in the biggest section on Sunday, and I could take care of all 10 of the tables no problem. Now servers always talk about their tips, and without fail, I always made more than anyone else. This caused anger from some of the newer servers, and they said it was because I always got a better section. Management came to me and told me what was going on, and that's when we decided on malicious compliance. Okay, so you can have my section next Sunday. I will take the small section. But since I am on the other side of the restaurant, I will not be able to help you much. I then got to enjoy a less stressful Sunday. I did my job like normal, turned my tables and made a ton of money. The other server was running around like crazy and not getting much done. At the end of the shift, they learned that they made less than a week before because of how bad they were taking care of their tables, and the church crowd are horrible if you aren't taking care of them right. It was always great to hear the server say you can have your section back. I don't want it ever again. Now, this was not a one-time thing. This happened many times over the 5 years I worked there. Every time it happened, I still made more money. Every time we would get a new server complaint, I just smiled and said, go ahead, take my section, I could use a break. This was almost 30 years ago now, but my mom used to keep a bottle of liquid coffee creamer in the fridge at work because she hated the powdered stuff they provided for employees. Somebody kept using it all and never replaced it. She even started putting a piece of masking tape on the bottle that said, "Name's creamer, do not use." But of course, that didn't deter them. She had recently delivered my sister and returned from maternity leave and was hormonal, exhausted, and stressed. So when she found her bottle of creamer in the fridge empty, she kinda lost it a bit and went off in a break room about whoever the inconsiderate jerk was that kept taking her stuff. Everybody relentlessly made fun of her for it. One guy even went as far as calling her the creamer you witch behind her back. So the following week, she left her usual bottle of creamer in the same spot in the fridge, but this time with a note taped to the fridge door. "Y'all can call me whatever names you want, but you should definitely stop taking my creamer." No later than 9:30 a.m. the same day, creamer you witch guy was dry heaving into the break room sink. "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you sick?" my mom asks. "I know you put spoiled creamer in there on purpose, you pity witch." My mom casually walks over to the fridge, pulls out the bottle of creamer with the masking tape on it and shows it to him, saying, "Well, if you had bothered to read the label, you'd know that it's not a creamer. The storage bottle for my pressed pump broke, so I had to find another container. Look it. It's clearly marked pressed milk, not for coffee. See? It's right there." He was a known jerk around the office and was already on thin ice with management, so he knew better than to say anything. He never took anyone's stuff from the fridge after that.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.